Andersen.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, Anderson. Today's video is some happy news compared to the last one. We got the C55 brake setup to work on the C36, and I'm going to show you guys how and all the information that I've discovered in between last video and now, which is quite a bit. So if you guys caught the last video, you saw that the C55 brake setup on the C36 didn't quite go as planned. And since then, I've actually found out a lot of information that I want to share with you guys that'll shed some light on the earlier W202s and how I found kind of an easy way out of the issue we were having before. All right, so number one, here's the setup as you guys remember. Common thing, you guys have seen it many times on different models, I'm sure, but 4-pot setup. This was used on the C55, C32, the non-performance package CLK, 55s, 500s probably. So lots of different cars use these. 345mm by 30 rotors, and with an offset of 46.5. Now we need an offset closer basically to like 44.5 to 45.5 if we were going to make this work, but I was able to find a trick to make it work without all that. Now, before I tell you exactly what we had going on, I just want to send a special thank you to a few people that were really helpful and integral in me finding out a lot of the information that I did. So number one, shout out to you, Lee Kirk on IG. We've been talking back and forth, doing parts cross compatibility research and all kinds of stuff. So I just appreciate you doing that with me. It's not every day that I get like a homework buddy, a study buddy to make this stuff happen and shedding some knowledge on this whole chassis with me. So shout out to you. Also, shout out to Steve Geyer, local legend, local Mercedes guru that it's been awesome getting to chat with. He also had a ton of knowledge on this platform. And one of the key things we found out was confirmed by another special thank you, Matt Quick of Quick Classics. You guys know him for the crazy M113K swap cars. But we were actually talking, and from his experience, we confirmed what my suspicions were. So let me explain by showing what's on the car. So if you guys watched the last video, the issue was basically the caliper and the rotor were interfering on the back side here. Okay, it wasn't on the front, so many of you guys were suggesting, okay, just shim the caliper forward, which would have been awesome. I would have loved to do that as an easy scenario, easy out. But it wasn't. It was the opposite scenario where the rotor is interfering on the backside. So the only way I could have gotten out of that is by either shimming the rotor forward or what I ended up doing for my solution, which I'll show you guys shortly. But this was key in finding out from Matt Quick because I had some suspicions that the early W202s had a different spindle or knuckle, because the only cars that I could find that had done this 4-pot setup retrofit were the 96 and 97 C36s, C280s, etc., so on and so forth, kind of up the line as they got newer and newer. But the early models, I hadn't found anybody who had retrofit this setup. So we looked through the parts catalog. I had lots of people checking, myself checking. I couldn't really find any definitive info as to whether or not there really was a part change for the spindle or knuckle on the early 202s. But it so turns out that Matt Quick had actually had a buddy who had a 97 C36 that ended up getting into an accident, breaking one of the spindles on one side. They went to a junkyard to get another car and ended up pulling an early model spindle, and when doing so and doing this same exact brake setup, they ended up finding out that one side needed to be shimmed because it wasn't aligning properly. Basically, they had one off of same of what's on my car. So they had one later model, one early model of the spindle design. And with his experience and his knowledge, it was kind of like the cement stamp. It was kind of like the stamp of approval of my suspicions, real world experience proving that this in fact is a different spindle design, which is really the only logical thing I could come up with as to why these weren't just a bolt-on like they were supposed to be. But that led me to a solution, and I'll show you guys what I did. Now, unfortunately, all the audio got cut out of this clip, so you're just gonna see me kind of hacking away at this. But what I essentially did, as you'll see in the clips, was file down the calipers, and there's a little kind of spot on the caliper that you'll see here, me talking over this clip that I'm pointing at, 2 ears on the caliper in the back side that I basically kept filing down, kept filing down, kept filing down. It probably took me 5 to 7 tries of getting it all the way right, and eventually I just fully sent it and said, okay, I'm gonna get these as flush with those kind of bottom ears as I can, so I don't keep taking these on and off trying to test fit them. So yeah, now we are at a spot where we are finally good. And you'll only hear basically the brake pad touching against the rotor, and that's the rear brake pad. So the one unideal thing about this setup, I guess, which you guys won't be able to really see because I can't get the camera in there all the way, but there's probably 4 millimeters of clearance on the outer side and maybe 1 millimeter of clearance on the inner side. So it's not symmetrical. It's not kind of how you would want things necessarily, but it shouldn't be a problem. And with the way these are designed and operate, it's not gonna like blow out a piston or anything. It's still got plenty of kind of space to go. And right now these are fully compressed. So when they're actually expanded, have brake fluid in them, these should be no problem. You know, it'll work. So it's gonna be some testing obviously once I actually get it back on the ground. But this video, I just wanted to show you guys that it was possible, what I figured out, and kind of my solution for the time being. On the next video, I will show you guys kind of the fully finished setup on both sides. I still have to do the driver's side. It was a lot of filing. It's late at night right now, and I've been staying up way too late this whole week, so I need to get to sleep. But yeah, next video, I will have it on the ground. I'll bleed the brakes, all of that stuff, and we'll go out for a test drive before she goes down again for the water pump. So I guess I just wanted to give you guys some good news on Friday. I didn't mean to like sound super negative, by the way, in the last video. I hope I didn't, but I wasn't super down. I was more just like kind of bummed that I spent all the time doing what I did, and then just to find out that it wasn't going to work right at the end. It was just kind of an annoying little roadblock that I didn't expect. And honestly, I was exhausted. So that kind of added to my kind of somber mood about it. But it wasn't that big a deal. I didn't want to like overhype what it was. It's a pretty easy solution in the end, thankfully. And we'll see that it works properly next time you guys see the brake setup in the next video. But again, I just want to offer many thanks to those that were helping me out. There was a ton of people from the W202 community on Instagram and even in the comments on the last video, either encouraging me or just like trying to offer help, solutions, etc. And I really appreciate you guys for doing that. Yeah, it makes it that much easier to figure stuff out in a timely manner when you have some type of aid at your side. So really appreciate you guys. And yeah, I'm excited to get this thing back on the ground. Oh, one other thing I should mention as well, I did actually order the correct rotors for this car, the 320 millimeter rotors out of Germany. I found a wholesaler that was actually able to do it. I believe it was MB Part Source. I think they're based out of Texas. But yeah, they sent through the order to Germany. Germany sent them out to them, and they're gonna send me a tracking once I get it. They were $240 shipped for the pair. So honestly, not bad. So it's cool that I'll have them on hand. If I ever wanna put the original setup back on, or just want to have it ready to go for whenever, I think it'll be cool to have. And honestly, those parts could go NLA anytime, so I kind of don't want to sleep on getting them now when they're available at a pretty decent cost. So yeah, I'll have those on hand, and I'll have the whole original calipers refreshed, refinished, and ready to go, kind of sitting as a nice ornament that'll always stay with the car, just in case I want to throw them back on. Or we'll see. If I have issues with this setup, then I'll definitely throw them back on. But I think we should be good. And talking to some people that have done something like this before, and even with them not being symmetrical, the rotor sitting perfectly in the middle, I think we should be good. So that's it, guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your Friday today, and I will catch you guys next week. We actually have some really cool stuff planned for next week. I'm on spring break, so I got time to really chill with you guys. And yeah, we're gonna get into some good stuff. We got some visitors coming up, and we're gonna meet some cool people too. So I will see you guys probably in a couple days. So again, enjoy your guys' weekend. Catch you guys on the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.